In this video, we're going to be analysing the Super Saiyan transformation, assessing its characteristics, triggers, users, and power, so stay tuned to learn more.
Kaioshin, Curt.
Hey there guys, it's Kaioshin Curt here, helping you to expand and enhance your knowledge of Dragon Ball. And on this channel, we do Dragon Ball knowledge videos, Dragon Ball merchandise reviews, and of course, coverage of Dragon Ball Super. So if you're new here, maybe you'd like to subscribe. Now in the last video in the transformations playlist, we were analysing the false Super Saiyan transformation. That was Toei's version of Toriyama's Super Saiyan that was soon to appear in the manga after the Lord Slug movie. But right here, right now, we're going to be analysing the Super Saiyan transformation from Toriyama, which debuted in episode 95 of Dragon Ball Z and manga chapter 317. Let's first start off with the legend. According to Vegeta, the legend says, a Super Saiyan only appeared once every 1,000 years. Episode 66 of Dragon Ball Z depicted the Super Saiyan warrior of legend resembling a yellow-furred Ozaru, who had lost control of their power, eventually destroying their own planet. This was a legend that he kept going on about. Now the 1 in every 1,000 years part of the Super Saiyan legend only works for Goku and Vegeta if you say that each Super Saiyan doesn't have to be separated by an entire millennium. Instead, the next Super Saiyan can appear at any time in the following 1,000 years. But this argument of course falls apart when the others became Super Saiyans as well. In terms of appearance, Super Saiyan has very distinguishing features such as the hair becoming golden and standing on end, the pupils of the eyes becoming green, the aura and eyebrows becoming gold, and a large muscularity increase. It isn't too different from false Super Saiyan, apart from the golden hair and eyebrows of course. Now when Toriyama was questioned in the super exciting guide, why does Goku's hair turn gold when he becomes a Super Saiyan, Toriyama answered saying he wanted to save his assistant time by not needing to fill in Goku's black hair. That right there is the simple answer, to save time. So what are the triggers to transform into a Super Saiyan? Well, there are 3 factors that are required. They are a sufficient battle power, a rage generated from an external/internal stimulus, and a dangerous situation. For a Saiyan to become a Super Saiyan, they need to have a base power exceeding a certain level, which is probably somewhere over 40,000. I say over 40,000 for a few reasons. Over 40,000 battle power exceeds the power of most Saiyans in Ozaru and surpasses the power of a normal Saiyan. It also satisfies how in the manga of the History of Trunks special, Super Saiyan Future Trunks could fight base Future Gohan, who was weaker than base Goku on Namek, who had a power level of 3 million. Thirdly, we must remember Future Trunks spent most of his life as a Super Saiyan. He didn't have it unlocked from a kid like present Trunks. Perhaps Goku and Vegeta could have transformed much earlier if they had the intense anger, as they met the requirement of the battle power earlier on in the Namek saga. The rage required can be from an external or internal stimulus, causing intense rage or anger towards something else or even the Saiyan themselves. Also, like Ozaru, the more a Saiyan uses the form and the stronger they get, the more in control of themselves they are when they're using the form. Unlike Ozaru though, there doesn't necessarily need to be an external trigger for the transformation to take place after a while. Instead, they probably remember the mental state they were in when it happened and try to bring that feeling about again, which causes the transformation again. In terms of who has used Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball, we have a few Saiyans and half-breed Saiyans. Firstly, there was of course Goku. After Goku seemingly killed Frieza with the huge spirit bomb, all was calm, but Frieza survived and immediately announced his return by brutally wounding Piccolo and then killing Krillin. It was at this point Goku gained the final stimulus to becoming a Super Saiyan, an extremely intense emotional anguish. He stated to Frieza, "Despite my calm, quiet heart, I am the legendary warrior, awakened by intense anger. I am the Super Saiyan, Son Goku." Now the Super Saiyan transformation has other effects apart from increasing strength and speed. Despite being hardly able to move, once Goku transformed into Super Saiyan, it was either that his body had recovered or that Super Saiyan had given him a huge reserve of energy allowing free movement. Also, when Goku first transformed, he started to identify himself as a Saiyan unlike before. Goku was determined by the Saiyan mentality to see Frieza's 100% power, waiting even a minute for him to reveal it. This was similar to Gohan with Super Saiyan 2. So rather than getting off the planet, Goku wanted to fight Frieza. It was his sole desire. He had become a true Saiyan, determined to avenge the Saiyans, his friends, the Namekians, and all the countless other innocents killed by Frieza. King Kai knew that Goku had become a true Super Saiyan now. Goku could also talk telepathically to King Kai and Grand Elder Guru whilst fighting Frieza at full effort. The other ability that Goku had is that he could control the Spirit Bomb as a Super Saiyan according to the Super Android 13 movie. My gosh, that is a serious face. I love it! Now, as Goku's fight with Frieza went on, the Super Saiyan form far outstripped Frieza's power. Goku's power and speed remained relatively constant as the form provided stamina and ki control. Frieza's power kept dropping without him realizing Goku's was not. The great turning point in the battle came in episode 103 when Goku slammed Frieza with a punch so powerful that Frieza was likely slowly defeated by it. As after this point his power kept dropping dramatically and he likely suffered internal bleeding. Frieza was out of breath in almost every frame after this. He had it. Goku realized this and said it outright. Now once Goku escaped planet Namek, he crash landed on Yardrat and trained there for over a year before returning to Earth. If we look at establishing Goku's power in this fight against Frieza, we can see Goku's base when facing Frieza was much higher than 1 million. That was Frieza's second form quoted power over 1 million. Then Goku used Kaioken times 10 and Kaioken times 20, putting his power level at more than 40 million. The Daizenshuu 7 provided power levels for this fight, which mostly makes sense with the anime and manga. It said Goku was 3 million in his base and that Kaioken times 10 and 20 resulted in 30 and 60 million respectively. 50% power Frieza was quoted at 60 million, which explained why Goku could hurt him with the times 20 Kamehameha and Spirit Bomb. Since Goku was unable to beat Frieza with Kaioken times 20 while Frieza was only using half his power, but was then finally able to defeat Frieza as a Super Saiyan, we can infer that Goku as a Super Saiyan must be over 40 times as powerful as he is normally. 100% Frieza was quoted as 120 million and Super Saiyan Goku was 150 million. So according to these figures, Goku was toying with 100% Frieza, which does make sense as Goku let himself be pushed around saying, "Is that all you've got?" But when Goku really tried, he always overwhelmed Frieza. In terms of power, Super Saiyan provided a 50 times base multiplier according to the Daizenshuu 7, GT Perfect Files Volume 1, and also the Super Exciting Guide data books. Super Saiyan multiplies the ki they have. The guidebooks also describe it as drawing out a Saiyan's hidden powers. Now it doesn't gift the power, but draws out the Saiyan's own power that they can't have access to without the form. Also in the Super Exciting Guide story volume, Toriyama revealed in an interview that he thought a multiplier of 50 was rather large, and that he had originally drawn it with the sense of being a 10-fold increase in what Goku had been up until then. By Toriyama's words, it's unclear whether Super Saiyan would then equate to Kaioken times 10, which would be utterly useless against Frieza. Super Saiyan couldn't only be as powerful as Ozaru. It's not reasonable that Goku could have destroyed Frieza in Ozaru. Frieza would not have been worried about the Super Saiyan legend then. Or perhaps Toriyama meant Super Saiyan should be 10 times Kaioken times 10 or times 20, but that would make even less sense as 100 times or 200 times multiplier would be in effect much larger than 50 times base, as Toriyama said was too large. Maybe Toriyama meant a large increase like 50-fold is hard to visualize and draw, so that he thought it as a 10 times fold increase instead. Either way, it seems that Toriyama was being forgetful again. Let me know what you think Toriyama meant by this in the comment section down below. Now by the time of Battle of Gods in Dragon Ball Super, Goku's Super Saiyan form had become more powerful than Super Saiyan Vegeta because he absorbed the power of the Super Saiyan God into his base form. After the God ritual, Goku maintained the strength of the God form in his base form and then Super Saiyan form. Another piece of evidence is when Gohan felt first form Frieza's ki, saying he had never felt a ki as huge before. So first form Frieza was above Super Buu-Tanks. Then base Goku went on to fight Frieza in his final form, so Goku's Super Saiyan form in the Resurrection of F Arc would have been around 50 times the power of Super Saiyan Vegito according to the multiplier. No wonder power scaling is messed up in Dragon Ball Super. The next user of Super Saiyan we were introduced to was Future Trunks. He gained Super Saiyan in the future timeline. In the anime, he transformed by intense rage at the death of future Gohan, whereas in the manga version, he could already transform at that stage. In episode 120 of Dragon Ball Z, his Super Saiyan power was greater than Goku on Namek. He was able to one-handedly deal with an energy ball 10 times as powerful as the one Frieza used to destroy Namek, and then destroy Frieza in 1 second, and then it only took 2 moves from Trunks to destroy King Cold as well. Then when Trunks tested Goku as a Super Saiyan, he tried his hardest, but Goku was stronger due to his years worth of training on Yardrat. Now the next user was Vegeta, transforming for the second time in episode 129 and manga chapter 343. The route by which Vegeta became Super Saiyan was slightly different, but with the same stimulus. He stated his heart was pure, but of evil. In his training at 450 times Earth's gravity, he hit the wall of his own limitations. This must have been extremely frustrating as Vegeta trained under gravity 4 times greater than Goku did on his way to Namek. Then in his training in space, he was at his body's limit, so he had an intense rage towards himself because of himself lacking the transformation, which then awoke him into a Super Saiyan. Despite Vegeta having a heart of pure evil, he met the requirement of Super Saiyan, intense anger, even if it was directed at himself. Remember back to Goku's speech where he said, "Despite my calm, quiet heart, I am the legendary warrior, awakened by intense anger." Another characteristic of Super Saiyan was revealed later in his fight with Android 19. Vegeta explained how Super Saiyans experience an increase in ferocity. They go into a state of no remorse. As for Gohan, he knew of his future self's ability to transform, as well as witnessing future Trunks, his father, and Vegeta. In episode 160 of Dragon Ball Z, while trying to repel Goku's Kamehameha, Gohan became viciously angry with himself of his weakness to protect his friends, which awoke him to become a Super Saiyan. Also with future Gohan, he became a Super Saiyan after intense rages at the androids for destroying Piccolo and the others. As for Goten and Trunks, and subsequently Gotenks, the Saiyan half-breeds were born without a tail and are stated to be able to transform into Super Saiyan from a young age, Goten at 7 years of age and Trunks at 8. It has been theorized Goku and Vegeta passed on a different kind of DNA since both of them had achieved Super Saiyan by the time of the half-breed's conception. Also, maybe their tail removal at birth had an effect in unleashing their dormant power ahead of other characters who did not have their tails removed until much later. As for Cabba, his transformation in episode 37 in Dragon Ball Super was similar. After Vegeta said he would destroy planet Sadal, Cabba experienced intense rage against Vegeta and transformed into Super Saiyan. However, as for Caulifla, Dragon Ball Super made a blasphemous mistake with Caulifla's Super Saiyan transformation. Obviously, they had the dilemma of making Caulifla experience intense rage, but they could have thought of some scenario other than concentrating power in one's back. It is an utter mockery of Super Saiyan, and it's so bad that I don't even want to cover it. It's literally that bad, guys, in my mind. The worst thing is, the previously established method was neglected, and it took on a new, more simplified, yet completely lame one. Jeez, Dragon Ball Super, what are you doing at times, literally? In terms of advantages and limitations of Super Saiyan, there are many advantages, particularly the large 50 times base power and the increase in speed. It has always been useful to take on opponents after opponent by surprise, as the gap in power is difficult to adjust to suddenly. This is why Goku and Vegeta still use Super Saiyan now in Dragon Ball Super. It is the easiest to master out of the 3 Super Saiyan forms, and it is a large enough increase between base and Super Saiyan Blue power. Goku and Vegeta have got it to the place where there is no strain to use Super Saiyan, and they have the stamina and ki control to endure it for large periods. For Super Saiyan 2 and 3, this would be more difficult and not worth the effort. I personally like that they continue to use Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Super. It helps to keep it relevant and useful, whilst always referencing the Dragon Ball Z days. And in terms of limitations, there really aren't any at this stage in Dragon Ball Super, only for those new users, maybe such as Cabba and Caulifla. I hope you enjoyed analysing the Super Saiyan transformation. If you have any thoughts on what I said, let me know, and also tell me what you like and don't like about the Super Saiyan transformation down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching this video, and if you got value out of it, please Kaioshin that like button and definitely subscribe to expand and enhance your knowledge of Dragon Ball, as well as get coverage of Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball merchandise reviews. Until next time, you can watch the following videos of mine, and we'll see you soon.